Welcome to another day in the Lowcountry and today's edition of the WHHI-TV Daily News. I'm Betsy McDaniel, and let's get started with today's headlines. The classic story of workforce versus tourism has come to a head on the island. More than 300 people living in the Chimney Cove area, which is mid-island between Palmetto Dunes and Shipyard, have been given eviction notices, some for as early as the middle of September. Included in that number are more than 75 kids who go to Hilton Head schools. Many residents are Hispanic and work on the island in local hotels, restaurants, and other support businesses. They are the workforce we have talked about so much. Why are they being evicted? They're paying their rent that's doubled in the last 4 years. But alas, the property they live on is now more lucrative for high-end townhouses and condos. So that's who the California-based owner of the property is selling it to. Leaders at the Deep Well project thought there might be more time to work with the residents, but instead the deadlines are coming soon, and residents have now likely been priced off the island. Deep Well and Christ Lutheran Church have set up funds to help the families find new homes. Those in charge of the RBC Heritage say the changes announced yesterday by the PGA Tour might just favor a tournament like the Heritage, as players will now have to commit to playing 5 more tournaments each year. As a response to the challenge of the new LIV or LIV Tour, the PGA has announced that 12 tournaments are now being elevated to $20 million purses. The Heritage is not one of those, but in order to get those super events, the players have agreed to play in at least 20 tournaments to keep their memberships, up from 15, which RBC Heritage Chief Steve Wilmot says could bode well for the field of players for the Heritage. Beaufort's wonderful marina and waterfront views might actually become a victim of its own success. Safe Harbor Marinas, the folks who operate the Beaufort Marina, want to spend $14 million to double its size. Some residents don't think there's enough demand for a larger marina and worry that renovations will block some of the spectacular views of the water from Bay Street. Safe Harbor argues that the demand is there. New drawings of the proposal would tear down the old docks first. It does need the city's okay to implement the plans, and that would increase the number of boat slips from current 75 to 181. So there is still a long way to go before any decisions will be made. You may have seen this posted on social media already, but authorities are still asking for help in finding 79-year-old Jack Tribble of Bluffton. He has been missing from Palmetto's care facility on Ocoee Highway since Tuesday evening. He is white, 5 foot 10 inches tall, and was wearing black pants, a white shirt, a tan jacket, and orange hat when he was last seen. The Sheriff's Department has already had drones, ATVs, canine units, and helicopters in the search around the area. If you've seen Jack or know where he is, call the Bluffton Police or the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. And law enforcement is also looking for a 19-year-old who was working at the Wendy's on Hilton Head Island. That is, until he opened fire at a drive-through customer's car late last week. Police believe 19-year-old Fernando Montano knew the occupants of the car when he opened fire from the drive-through, then went outside and fired more shots at the car. It is believed that the occupants of the car also had guns. At least 6 shots were fired in all. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, although the window in the drive-through was shattered. The media sources on your screen will have more on these and other stories, and we would love for you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at WHHI-TV. And if you have an idea for a news story, we'd love to hear it, so drop us a line at news@WHHITV.com. And now here's Justin Jarrett with what happened last night in the Loco.
Hey Loco sports fans and WHHI viewers, it's time for Last Night in the Loco on WHHI, powered by Lowcosports.com. We covered the opening week of high school football from just about every angle, but we've got one thing left to do before we put week 0 to bed. We have to name the Loco Sports Player of the Week. Like we have in the past, we've put together a 4-person panel. The 5th vote goes to you, the fans. And it's the most important one because it's also the tiebreaker. This week it was the May River Sharks faithful who stepped up and got out the vote to power senior Ironman Darian Perry to the fan vote title, barely edging Wade Hampton's Zion Dobson. Perry had a great game in all phases of the game and a loss to New Hampstead, but our panel was in unanimity, going for a guy that you may have forgotten his performance was technically part of week 0. Thomas Hayward's Dietrich Schuford returned to the field for the first time since tearing up his knee last season and needing surgery and rehab, and all he did was pass for 445 yards and 7 touchdowns and rush for 112 yards and a TD that sealed a 56-48 win over Trinity Collegiate, last year's Skeeza 3A runner-up. Schuford threw 6 touchdown passes to Tyshawn Mansell, the guy who stepped in for him at QB last year, and another one to freshman phenom Tony O'Banner, and it's pretty clear the knee will not be an issue. In fact, it looks more like an asset. That's a wrap on week 0. Week 1 starts Friday night. For Loco Sports and WHHI, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until kickoff, go Loco.
Thanks, Justin. Now let's hand it over to Maria to get a look at our weather.
Thanks, Betsy. All right, so taking a look ahead, Friday we are going to see heavy thunderstorms throughout the day throughout the region. So if you're going to be on the road, do be careful and watch out for any flash flood warnings that they may be sending out. Hilton Head's going to have a high of 83 and a low of 74. Bluffton's going to have a high of 83 and a low of 73. And Beaufort's going to have a high of 85 and a low of 73. The sunrise for Friday is going to be at 6:54 and sunset's going to be at 7:54. Taking a look at the beach tides, high tide's going to be at 9:17 a.m. and low tide's going to be at 4:32 p.m. Taking a look into the weekend, Saturday it's going to be cloudy with scattered thunder showers throughout the day, throughout the region. Highs in the 80s, lows in the 70s. Sunday it's going to be mostly cloudy with showers and thunder showers throughout the day. Highs in the 80s, lows in the 70s. And then come Monday it's going to be cloudy with scattered thunder showers throughout the day, throughout the region, with highs in the 80s and lows in the 70s. That's it for today. Let's get back to the desk.
Thanks, Maria. And there's much more to come, so stay with us.